Hi, I'm Dr. Mickey Barber with Better Life Carolinas, and here we are, another week of the COVID-19 pandemic. I hope all of you out there that are watching and listening are feeling well, and that all of your family and friends are well too. Just want to talk about a couple of things. You know, we've been in this for a while, and I know how we all are. As Americans, we forget about things, so just beware that this is a really good time to not become complacent about social distancing, about staying indoors and not be doing things in groups. I know a lot of us are really feeling like, well, the worst of it is over, and I do believe that the peak is probably going to be next week in the United States, and then things will start to fall off just like they are in New York right now. But this is not the time to become complacent. So continue to use your Lysol or bleach to clean off surfaces, and to do frequent hand washing or use of hand sanitizer. Which brings me to another point. So the frequent use of hand washing and hand sanitizers is good because it gets rid of the virus on the surface of your hands. But there is a consequence to that, and that is affecting our gut healthy bacteria, or our microbiome. And that microbiome and our gut is really the first defense against any disease. That is where our immune cells and our immune defense really start. So now we need to really be thinking about our gut and how it's going to help us to ward off the coronavirus. Keep in mind that every day we're exposed to potential pathogens, disease-causing viruses and bacteria, and part of our defense comes from our gut. So what are some things that we can do to make sure that we do have a healthy gut, particularly during this time? Well, there are certain foods that help to boost our immune system through our GI tract. Things like mushrooms, garlic, all kinds of peppers, spinach, kale, my favorite, Brussels sprouts. Staying well hydrated, avoiding high sugars, excessive alcohol, avoid all artificial sweeteners. All of that is going to help to prevent what we call a leaky gut, because it's the gut, as that mucosa that lines the gut, which is really our barrier against some of these potential pathogens, becomes inflamed and becomes leaky. Then we start to absorb things that we don't want to absorb. We don't have the cells and the proteins to form the antibodies to fight off these infections. So there are some things. One would be to eat the right foods, get high fiber in your diet, and plenty of water. Making sure that water is not chlorinated, because the chlorine can also knock out those healthy bacteria. I recommend, particularly now, taking a probiotic to help support those bacteria. Avoid unnecessary use of antibiotics, and that's really important. A lot of people now are feeling like, oh my gosh, at least let me take a Z-Pack, maybe that'll help. It's not a good idea for a lot of reasons. One is that it's going to disrupt your defense system of your gut. So, be really careful with that. Some other things that support that gut bacteria and that immunity fighting part of our intestines, things like vitamin D, curcumin is another spice that can help with that. Elderberry, DHEA can help to support that as well. So there are lots of things. There's a peptide called BPC 157 that we know helps to decrease inflammation and heal the gut. So there are lots of things that we can do. We now have available blood testing, to see if you have been exposed through looking at antibodies that would form either in the short-term exposure to the coronavirus or long-term. So that can tell you, one, have you been exposed, and two, have you built up the appropriate antibodies. I personally think that is a very, very important piece of the puzzle that we now have available. So take care of your gut. As I said, it's important to avoid high sugars and to eat high fiber and healthy food during this time of stress, because stress can take a toll on your gut as well. Exercise is extremely important. Getting a good night's sleep is important. So please take care of yourself. We are winning this war, and our intestinal health is part of our infantry. Feel free to call us at Better Life Carolinas if you want to discuss or if you have any questions. Thanks so much. Take care of yourself. Be safe.